Some news, it's either good news or bad news depending what you think on the DC universe, but here's the news. Henry Cavill has pretty much announced that as Man of Steel 2 is more or less dead and that the DC universe may go on without him. So this is obviously another one of these recent big shake-ups that DC had, like cancelling putting the Justice League sequel on hold, renaming the DCEU to World of DC, and putting the Matt Reeves Batman standalone movie on hold. Yeah, I kind of want to better explore these, what's the DC fiasco is all about. So I listed like seven reasons what on earth is happening on DC and why is it crumbling apart. Let's start with number one. Number one is that Batman and Superman have just been too present in his big screen, and that they're, to be honest, they're not really needed anymore. Well, just to warn you about the video, it's going to be me being incredibly honest about DC and Marvel, since I'm kind of comparing the two. It's just going to be me being really honest, but Batman and Superman, let's be honest, they've been on the screen, they have a lot more screen presence on the big screen comparing to like Flash, compared to Cyborg, compared to Aquaman, compared to Wonder Woman. Out of all the DC movies, these two seem to get the big leagues. Don't get me wrong, there's of course there's Marvel that they didn't do that much film. They didn't do much film until like the early 2000s. Then became like full-fledged with Iron Man. Thus made made the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Of course, they start off with Spider-Man, then they start off with X-Men, and of course they kind of missed it with the Ang Lee Hulk. But with Batman, it's been betrayed by Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Christian Bale, now Ben Affleck. It feels like it's just it's been done too many times. It's just people want something new. Yeah, it's just a case it's just been done before too many times. And it's also on news that the Batman film is probably on hold and that Batman may not be at the DC Universe anytime now. Reason number two of why the DC Universe is pretty much broken with Henry Cavill is that nothing's really at stake. Come on, this will have a bit of spoilers to the recent Marvel movies, like like DC movies, like in the end of Justice League, when Superman meets with Flash, like, race you to the East Coast or West Coast, and they begin racing. And let's be honest, you've kind of forgot about this scene, and you don't care who wins. But for Marvel's case, like, half the universe is evaporated. We don't know we kind of have a vague idea what Captain Marvel is, but we need to kind of get the trailer of it sooner rather than later. Ant-Man's pretty much stuck in the quantum realm, and half the population is covered with ash. And that Tony Stark and Captain America may or may not use time travel for the Avengers 4. Yeah. Which one gives you more pumped? Someone racing from the East Coast to the West Coast, or half the universe is being evaporated dust? It's just nothing's really at stake, really. Reason number three of the DC fiasco is Mission Impossible Fallout. What? Why do you mention that recent Tom Cruise movie and that recent Mission Impossible movie? Well, Henry Cavill is in it, and the backstory behind the mustache is fascinating, since he refused to shave the mustache off even for reshoots for Justice League. And guess what? It looked rather silly. Yes. Yeah, about Fallout, the visuals look pretty much so practical, since they actually did the halo jump from a plane and into the Ardubari Desert. It was they CGI into Paris, while Tom Cruise was like riding a motorcycle through Paris in front of traffic. DC, I feel. What I was trying to get across is the action in DC movies is just way too CG laden. Like, it's just way too over reliant on special effects, and that fact that Mission Impossible Fallout's grossed like as of 12th of September $734.9 million. Compare that to Justice League is $657.9 million. I'll get to the part about box office. Like, seriously, it's a fifth. It's like the sixth installment of Mission Impossible, and Justice League, which was meant to be a pinnacle of the moment, and somehow grossing like 657. It's just really poor. Just a movie on the size of what should have been the size of like Avengers, where it's like all the big heroes gathering up together, and it somehow lost to Ethan Hunt's Big Adventures to Paris. How on earth did that happen? Of course, it's just like I said, Mission Impossible just made the mustache game only a bit more awkward, since he is a much more intimidating person. Like his fight scenes were real. His presence was there. And like Justice League, he just looks so bored like half the time. And pretty much when he's at the final battle scene and he's pretty much beating up the bad guy, I felt like, okay, let's be honest, we're gonna win. Like the moment they introduce Superman and Justice League, you know they're gonna win. You think we're gonna win. And reason number 4 about the DC fiasco is there's too much Plan Bs now. I kid you not, the DC universe has been like in the talks for like years now, to be honest. Like, it started with Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds. Well, of course, there's now the Butterful jokes, thanks for Deadpool. And of course, in Deadpool 2, Ryan Reynolds gets shot in the head just for reading the script. Only if I could turn back time. And speaking of Plan Bs, yeah, Man of Steel was of course going to have a sequel, and Batman was going to have his own standalone movie. Of course, neither of these things are pretty much, let's be honest, they're never going to happen. And there was of course the sequel to Justice League, which was going to happen, but from the poor box office, it's just non-existent. It's just the movie lost its box office momentum after news of the Mustache Gate and the loads and loads of reshoots. It's just way too much Plan Bs. They pretty much treated their original plan like a kebab, and there's nothing much of it left. Compared to like Marvel, there was making Inhumans like a movie before they made it into a TV show, but the reviews were absolutely poor, so I'm guessing they've ignored the movie now. Okay, this is going to be the part where I'm going to be really honest about superheroes. There's another problem that DC's movies just immediately created themselves the moment they're announced. They didn't use lesser known or smaller characters. Okay, like I said, they've like the first installments. First couple installments, they've introduced Superman, they've introduced Batman, then they introduced Wonder Woman, and they've gave like Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman, like smaller cameos. Well, let's be honest, before 2008, I don't know who Guardians of the Galaxy were. I kind of have a vague idea who Iron Man or Thor was. I kind of have an idea who Captain America was. That was like 2007. They need to introduce more underground, more lesser known comic book characters, and kind of make him to like a big time a hit in their own comics and studio. Let's be honest, you don't know. You kind of have a vague idea of who Iron Man was before the first movie was released. You kind of have a vague idea who he was. Yeah, and guess what? And they introduced like the bigger hits like Spider-Man, like after the Civil War. And of course, what happened with DC is just they gave us something that it's been done before. We've been familiar with it for way too long. Like we kind of knew who Spider-Man. We kind of knew who Superman was. We know who Batman was. Now the sixth thing about the DC fiasco is that the Henry Cavill's Superman and Ben Affleck's Batman are just not as bankable like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. Like, Wonder Woman made like $821.8 million worldwide, and Suicide Squad made $746.8 million worldwide again. Like, this is like big numbers you're talking about. These are like these type of characters you would typically find at a Comic-Con store. conventions. And actually, in fact, this is the first ever time they've been had their own big screen adaptations. Like, they had no predecessors. They're the inaugural actors, like Gal Gadot and Margot Robbie. They were the people that started off. Like, come on, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill. They're just the two actors that kind of continued a trend that's been here and there all that time. But of course, like Batman v Superman, like $873.6 million, then went to a downgrade, $657.9 million. It's pretty much a dip in form for like Batman and Superman in the box office. But like Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman's numbers, it's just got higher, like, phew, something like $80 million more. It's pretty much more evidence that that the only thing that the audience are really keen of is the lesser known characters in the DC universe. It's just the one problem is that DC universe just gave us something we kind of knew coming, and we kind of seen it before. And the final bit about the DC universe, or really Henry Cavill and the Batman and Ben Affleck fiasco, is just it's not really what anyone would call a pop culture icon performance. Like, Michael Keaton was brilliant, and Jim Carrey was fanatic, and George Clooney really doesn't want to do that, and Christian Bale was gold as Batman. And Heath Ledger, who passed away before the film came out, stole the show in Dark Knight, and Bane was just so intimidating by Tom Hardy, who would later do Venom and Mad Max, who's known for he's pretty much like a pop culture machine of intimidating characters. And compared to Superman, Christopher Reeve is probably the pinnacle person you know about Superman. Like Dracula being Bela Lugosi, King Arthur Grange Chapman, he is the person that could portray that one character. There's no other people. It feels like you cannot at all top that performance at all. It's just made it hard for like Brandon Routh and Henry Cavill to kind of top his performance. Okay, although like Henry Cavill was trying to go there. Try to do Superman but in a different direction by making him a more realistic version, like Mission Impossible Fallout, where it was a pun and joke that he tried to make a more realistic version without the mustache thing. But the one problem is just people are not going to look up to his performance as the Superman. People are not going to look up to Ben Affleck as the Batman, but people are going to look up to like Gal Gadot and Harley Quinn as Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn. They're pretty much the pinnacle ones. They're the inaugural ones. They're the first actresses to do something. Well, Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill just being there, done that. They're just adding on to the trend. But one last thing I would want to say is I do have some hope about the DC universe. I'm sure if I try to sound a bit too critical about the franchise, but let's be honest, I'm trying to be not at all. Of course, I really like to see Aquaman. I kind of want to see Wonder Woman 84 or 98, or Wonder Woman 1984, which is a sequel to Wonder Woman. And I want to see what one of Shazam is, which looks amazing, even though I don't know who is this Shazam is, but he was originally called Captain Marvel before Captain Marvel had his own comic in Marvel. There's of course the Flash movie and Cyborg movie, which may or may not happen. I'm really wanting to see more fresher, more newer superheroes. That's what I want to see. This is kind of a video where I kind of explain that Superman and Batman are kind of losing their freshness. But I can't. Okay, cat's down there. But I kind of want to know what you hear from this. I kind of want to read your comments, and I hope I will reply back. And let me know what you think. And this is Elijah Wells, and bye.